Okay, turn the volume all the way up so that you can get all of this juice that I'm spilling for the homeschool parents. Okay, let's go. Today, we're going to talk about an array of different things that you need after you've decided that you want to homeschool. We're going to talk about everything from removing your child from public school to setting up your homeschool environment to curriculum resources and things of that nature. All right, so I want you to tune in. Hi guys, welcome back to Honeybee's Homeschool Hive. I am your host, Miss B. I'm super glad to see that you are back. I hope that you have liked and subscribed to our channel. I am super excited to share a new topic with you on after you've decided to homeschool your scholar. If you have not already, please go watch our previous video where we talk about the disadvantages and the advantages of public school versus homeschool. All right, make sure you watch that video before you watch this video so that it gives you a little insight into deciding that you like to homeschool. All right. We're going to have a Hive Institute coming up. Hive Institute will begin in March. All right, so you still have time to get registered for Hive Institute so that you know how to teach your scholars, so that you are not doubting yourself, so that you are not insecure about your homeschooling journey. Because a lot of times we think we know what we're doing. We can just kind of wing it and things like that. Even though you are winging it, you still have to have some level of structure. All right. So today we are talking about the decision after you've decided that you want to homeschool. All right. So after you've decided, okay, you know what? Bye-bye public school, we good. Bye-bye teacher, bye-bye principal. We gonna see y'all the next time, all right? After you've decided to remove your scholar from public school, we're going to talk about what happens next, all right? We're gonna talk about the transition from the classroom to homeschool, all right? So a lot of people think once their scholar is already in public school that they can leave them in public school. They don't necessarily have to take them out to homeschool them. Some people think it's too late, and honestly, y'all, it's never too late. If you want to homeschool your scholar and they in the 8th grade, baby, pull them out of school, pull them out of public school, come home, because guess what? It's your scholar. The public school system don't own your child. All right. So today we're going to talk about the transition from the classroom to homeschool. Deciding to transition from public school to homeschool can feel overwhelming. I just want to be honest with you, because it can feel intimidating. Your scholar is used to what? Getting up every morning, getting ready for school. They might talk about missing their friends. They want to see their favorite teacher, all of these different things. All right. But that is okay, because guess what? I think that the brilliant thing about transitioning from public school to homeschool is to teach scholars that they have to be okay with change. All right. A lot of times when someone has been in the same space for a particular amount of time, or they're used to a particular routine, change can become so difficult for this person or this child. And so we want to teach scholars to be flexible, to adapt to different learning environments, different learning situations. All right. So yes, even though your scholar is in the public school system, but you are wanting to now homeschool, this is an opportunity to implement change and to teach change, because honestly, in their life, they're going to be going through many transitions. They're going to be going through many changes, right? The body changes, mood changes, circumstantial changes, right? So this will help them to be flexible. This will help them to adapt to the environment that you're creating. All right. So it is okay. I know your scholar, they're going to have a hard time, child. They're going to be like, oh, my friends. I want to leave my friends. Bye-bye. You'll be all right. Okay, you will make new friends, right? And you can keep your friends, because this is where we want to be sure that we implement that socialization piece. Okay, we want to make sure that just because we're removing them from public school, assure them that, listen, you'll still have your friends, you're still able to go to their homes, you are still able to communicate with them outside of school, all of these different things to reassure them that though their life is changing, their relationships do not have to change. All right. And so, yes, make sure that you're mentioning that when you are transitioning your scholar out of the public school system to a homeschool environment. I want to assure you that you are not the only family going through this. Okay, you are not the only family. That is why, guys, I encourage you to get connected to the homeschool community within your community. All right, get into homeschool co-ops just so that you are communicating with a group of parents who have gone through what you're getting ready to experience. All right, make sure that you're getting into these hubs, getting into these communities, joining different Facebook groups that are talking about homeschooling on a frequent basis so that you are knowing what to expect when you go into this change. Because just like your scholar will be experiencing changes, so will you. Your entire routine will change. Your life will change because the freedom that you once had without having your scholar at home is now going to be to a minimum. And so everybody's going to be experiencing transition. Everybody's going to be experiencing change. So it is up to you to make that environment a safe transitional environment. And so by doing that, you want to make sure that you gather all the resources, all the tools, all of the knowledge about this transition prior to your transition. All right, just to make it a little bit smoother, just to make sure it's still gonna be a little bumpy now. I ain't up here telling y'all, it's gonna be rainbows and flies. No, it's going to be a different thing for you. It's going to be different for your scholar. But with this, I promise you, if you are following the rules that are in this video, it is going to help you transition smooth as possible. All right, so let's get into the first step. Guess what? You've already taken the first step. You've decided to homeschool your scholar. All right. Point blank, period. You've decided to homeschool your scholar, and this is going to change the trajectory of their life. All right. Little do you know, the contribution that you are getting ready to make to the life of your scholar is going to be significant. All right. And they'll never forget the experiences that you guys will have once you are on this homeschooling journey. This is something that's going to enhance their life. So you want to make sure that you are communicating that to your scholar. All right. Now, one of the things that I think that most homeschool parents miss, including your child in the decision making. Make sure that you are including your scholar, and I'm going to tell you why. Though you may think that homeschool is best for them, they may thrive in an environment where they need to be around a certain number of kids. They need to be around a group of children. If this is the case, still let them know, listen, yes, I can get you a homeschool group that you can join, and you can homeschool alongside another neighborhood friend. That may be helpful, but you do not want to make it seem like you are making this decision just based off your own judgment. All right. Even though we do oftentimes know what's best for our scholars, we still want to give them choice, right? So this is a decision that I'm making on behalf of you, but I want you to be included in my decision. So though you are deciding, make sure you list out the pros and cons for yourself and list out the pros and cons for your scholar. All right. Making sure that they understand that what it means to be homeschooled, what it looks like to be homeschooled. Will they still have routines? Will they still have fun? Will they still be able to do this? Will they still be able to do that? Making sure that you are including them, all right, in this process, and not just deciding just because you think that it is okay, all right. And after you have decided, after you and your scholar have decided that, okay, yes, homeschool is best for what we are trying to do, then it is important to clarify why you're doing it. All right. Making sure that you're not doing it just because you've seen another parent do it, or you're not doing it because I'm talking about it, that you're simply doing it to enhance your life and the life of your scholar. All right. Because that's truly what it's about. All right. So yes, make sure that when you have finalized your decision, that A, you have communicated this with your scholar, you have included them in the decision-making process. B, that you have clarity on why you are choosing to homeschool. And C, get motivated. Join the homeschool hub. Join Honeybee's Homeschool Hive. Join these homeschool co-ops. Join these Facebook groups that are supportive of your homeschooling journey to get you motivated, get you encouraged to start the transition. All right. Once you have decided, baby, homeschool is for us, your scholar is on board, your family is on board, and I'm talking about the family in your house. Not the family outside your house, because family outside your house will have you having your kids in public school lost. Okay? So make sure that you're deciding for yourself. Okay? Make sure you're deciding for yourself. All right. So yes, everybody's now on board. You are getting ready to homeschool your scholar. The next thing, guys, is to be sure that you understand There are legal requirements when you are deciding to homeschool. You cannot just call up there on Friday, hey, Miss So-and-so, I'm pulling Johnny out today because I'm just about to homeschool him. No, you cannot do that. And don't go telling nobody, Miss B said that I need to homeschool because public school not doing what they need to do. Don't put that on me now. Don't put that on me now. Okay, so here, listen, I'll make sure you on it. That's federally correct. Okay, I'll make sure you got all the legalities together because baby, y'all not gonna come back to me now. Y'all not gonna come back to me with it. So guess what? Yes, this is what you need to do. The very first thing that you need to do regardless is you need to look up your state laws. Yes, there are homeschool requirements depending on your state. So you need to Homeschool Legal Defense Association for your state laws, for your state requirements. Most states usually require you to file a letter of intent. All right, they want you to file a letter of intent to be sure that, okay, this is what's happening with this scholar. They are choosing to homeschool them. This is an important thing to do because I'm telling you, if your scholar just stopped going to school, the Department of Family and Child Services will be knocking at your door because it is illegal for you to do that. You cannot do that. You have to let your school know that you are intending on homeschooling your scholar. So be sure that you do that regardless of your state laws. If the state laws say, oh yeah, you don't have to let still let them know. Better safe than sorry, baby. Let them know. All right. Go ahead, file your letter of intent and, start there. All right. Most states don't require you to keep a detailed record, but some states do. Detailed record meaning attendance records, right? If they're going to have a homeschool teacher, you need to record that. You need to submit those type of documents. That's why it's important to make sure you are on that homeschool website so that you understand the laws for your particular state. And if you don't know, you're going to be held responsible. Be sure that you are doing these things to keep yourself safe and your scholar safe. All right. If you have trouble, like, okay, well, what do I say in the letter of intent? Google it, baby. Google it. Google it. Okay. Don't even try to make it harder than it is, baby. Google the letter of intent and guess what? Copy and paste it and add in the necessary information that you need. All right. Let's not make it harder than it is. Be sure that you have sent it to your principal. Hand deliver it, I suggest, to your principal so that they understand, because I promise you, once again, if you don't want defects at your door, baby, give that letter of intent. It does not matter what state you are in. All right. So once you do that, some states will require you to complete yearly assessments. Yes, you just heard me correctly. Yearly assessments. Some of them might even require you to do quarterly assessments. Yes, you just heard me correctly. That means that you have to have a strategy for homeschool, baby. They like, just because you got your child at the house does not mean they're not going to be able to divide. Okay, just because you got your scholar at house don't mean they're not going to be able to read. So they are requiring you to make sure that you are teaching the necessary standards, and that your scholar is actually conceptualizing these different concepts so that your scholar is not left behind. Okay, just because you're homeschooling and you're able to homeschool from kindergarten to 5th grade doesn't mean that you're going to be able to homeschool from 6th to 8th grade. So you want to make sure that you are preparing your scholar just in case they have to go back into the public school system. There's nothing wrong with that. I know parents that have homeschooled their scholars kindergarten and 5th grade and sent their scholar to school, middle school. I know parents that have homeschooled their scholars 6th to 8th grade and that scholar went to elementary school and their scholar went to high school. All of those things are up to you. So that means though that you have to make sure as a parent, as a home teacher, that you are doing what is required. And I would suggest that you would, after you drop off your letter of intent, I would suggest that you ask about quarterly assessment, that you ask about the yearly assessment so that you know that you are teaching the correct skills, so that you know that you are teaching the correct standards so that your scholar is not left behind. All right. So, all right, making sure that you are keeping a record of all of the things that's happening and making sure that you have dropped off your letter of intent to your neighborhood neighborhood public school. All right. Now, after you have decided you've satisfied all legal requirements, now we are going through a process of deschooling. All right. Deschooling. Deschooling is where you are changing the perspective of what school looks like for your scholar. All right. What school necessarily feels like for your scholar. All right. Now, a lot of times people skip this step. They like, oh, okay, you in public school on Tuesday, we homeschooling on Wednesday, and this is what we doing, this is what we doing. But what we have to understand is there is an adjustment period, and there is a time frame for your adjustment period. So if your scholar has been in school for 1 year, it typically takes about a month for them to get readjusted. If your scholar has been in school for 6 years, it's going to take about 6 months for them to get readjusted to what their new normal is around learning, their new normal around school. If they've been in school for 8 years, it's going to take them about 8 months to change their mindset, to change their perspective. All right. And so I encourage you to never skip these steps. There are different things that you can be doing during this process that still includes learning. So they won't be experiencing learning loss, but what they will be doing is they will be restructuring their brain to think differently about school, about the things that they are learning. All right. So one of the things that we want to start with, so the very first step of deschooling is to break down the school mindset. All right. The rigid schedules. All right. The standardized testing, things like that. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Do not tell your scholars that, oh, we're not going to be doing any tests. We're not going to be doing any quizzes, because that's not true. Because if you are not doing quizzes, if you're not doing tests, how do you know that your scholar is truly understanding the concepts that you're teaching? Wait, exactly. So you have to test them at some point. And like I said, some states require you to turn in assessments. Some, they might be quarterly assessments. There might be yearly assessments. So you need to make sure that you're looking up those legal requirements so that you understand. So I wouldn't go into it telling your scholar, hey, no more standardized testing, but you can tell them that your standardized testing is not dependent upon how you academically perform. It is not going to be detrimental to your experience. It's not going to be harmful to your school life. You don't have to get nervous about standardized testing. Change their perspective about what testing will look like. All right. Yes. So like I said, you don't want to tell them that, oh, it's not going to be no tests, no quizzes and stuff like that, because they're going to have a level of expectation. All right. So yes, even though there won't be state mandated standardized testing that we usually go through, right, when we're in the public school system, it won't be that type of testing, but there will be some level of testing to ensure that your scholar is grasping the concepts that you are teaching. All right. Yes. And the schedule, guys. Now, I want to let you know that yes, public school has a rigid scheduling system, right? You know, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30, right? All of these different times. But I'm going to tell you something. Some of that you need to keep yourself sane. All right. Some of that you need to implement in your home. Now, I'm not saying you got to wake up at 6 a.m. every morning. I'm not saying you got to wake up at 7:30 a.m. every morning, but you need to make sure that your scholar knows, okay, between the hours of 10:30 and 12:30 p.m., between the hours of 10:30 and 1:30 p.m., we are participating in learning activities. We are participating in passion-driven projects. All right. Because you don't want them to get into a mindset that homeschool means sleeping all day. You don't want them to get in the mindset that homeschool means going to Target at 9:30, even though that could be a part of your learning day. But that's not an everyday practice, because what happens is when the state starts to come down on you and you decide in their 8th grade year that you want to send them back to public school and they're behind, you're going to look back at them Target trips. You're going to look back at them Target trips like, oh, yeah, because you did not have no schedule. You didn't know what you was doing. All right. You skipped the deschooling process. So make sure that, yes, your scholar doesn't have to be standing in line. All right. They don't have to, be this, that. And, according to the public school system, yes, but they have to have some level of time management, guys, some type of schedule. And that happens between the deschooling process. So you let them know, okay, yeah, you wake up at 9:30, but you got to start working at 10:30. All right. And you'll be working from 10:30 to 11:45. on this particular subject, and then tomorrow we will pick up on XYZ, just to make sure that they know that it is a relaxed environment, but learning is still happening in this house. All right. So yes, a lot of times parents decide to pull their scholar out because they don't love to learn anymore. Learning isn't fun anymore, right? So during the deschooling process, you have to make sure that you are reestablishing the love of learning, right? Reestablishing what it means to love learning, right? I think one of the things that challenged me in the public school system was that school wasn't fun anymore. And as a teacher, I went into education because I thought that education was fun, because I thought that teaching would be something that was fun for me to do. But what I quickly realized like in the first 2 days, I was like, oh, this ain't fun. This ain't fun. I can't even create my own lessons. Now y'all telling me what to do. I can't even, and there is a reason why they do give us curriculum these days and stuff like that. But guess what? It still has to be fun for your scholars. So what it does is it siphons their love of learning. It takes their love of learning out because they're constantly thinking, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. No. So during the deschooling process, you want to make sure that you are reestablishing what it means to love to learn. All right. So make learning fun for them. Go get them different things to play with. Go get them different manipulatives for math. Go take them on a nice field trip, right? That's the brilliant thing about homeschooling. So during the deschooling process, be sure that you are implementing the love of learning back into your scholar's life. All right. Now, also make sure you focus on relaxation and healing from public school system. Because baby, I'm gonna tell you something. When I got to college, I had to come down from the public school system because I was so used to those schedules. I was used to doing this. And yes, it was beneficial in some ways, but it held me back in some ways as well. So you want to make sure that you focus on relaxing your scholar, right? Making sure they understand that it's okay to take your time now. You don't have to rush, right? In public school, everything is about rushing. Everything is about getting here. Everything is about doing. I don't know if y'all seen that video of Blue Ivy where she's sitting there with her parents and she goes, that's what we doing from the public school to the homeschool. We bringing it down, baby, to a minimum. All right. So yes, that's what you want to implement during the deschooling process. And another thing you want to implement during the deschooling process is to let your child lead. All right. When you are going through deschooling, guess what? One day you might wake up and say, you know what, scholar? What do you want to do today? What do you want to do today? And they're going to tell you, I want to watch a movie about trucks. I want to watch a movie about cars and how cars are made. And guess what you should do? You should cut that video on and you should watch a movie about cars, because what happens is it first gets them to understand that homeschool is about them. This process is about them. So what happens is they're like, ooh, I get to learn the things that I'm interested in. Hold up. I like this. All right. So yes, making sure they're leading the exploration process, because once you realize, oh, they like cars, oh, they like trucks, guess what? Some of your lessons need to be centered around their interests. They need to be centered around the things that they like to explore. So one of your scholars might say, today I like to go outside and I like to plant flowers. Guess what you need to do? You need to go to Lowe's. Guess what? That's the part of your homeschooling. You can go to Lowe's and teach them how to find different things in their store, things that you would necessarily need to plant something, things that you would necessarily need to grow a flower, grow food, right? That is a lesson within itself. So allowing your child to lead exploration during the deschooling process is important. All right. And like I said, if you're making a trip to Lowe's, and you're getting the supplies to plant your flowers or to plant your garden because that's what your scholar wants to do, guess what? It ain't no time constraint. It ain't no time constraint. Time constraints are required for when you are doing sit-down activities. All right. If you're doing sit-down activities, okay, yes, you need to sit down and I am actively teaching on a whiteboard. That is when you need to have structured learning time. But if you're getting ready to go out to Lowe's and you're getting ready to purchase some products for your scholar and y'all are learning, you can leave at 2:30, come back at 5:30. Long as you get it done. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Make sure you're getting these things done though. Because remember, you are always teaching your scholar. So when you are not completing the activities that you are saying you are wanting to complete or that you want them to complete, guess what? They're picking up on that, and they're going to pick up on that habit. And that's not a good habit to have as an adult. So you want to make sure, if you said that y'all planting the garden tomorrow, you need to plant that garden tomorrow. All right. And all that happens during the deschooling process. So you got to be very particular about how you're presenting yourself during this process, because they're going to be expecting you to present yourself like this at all times. So if you don't follow through, if you forget, if you let them do whatever, they playing video games at 10:30, guess what they're going to think? That's what they're going to think homeschool is. And you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble. All right. Don't say I ain't tell you. Don't say I didn't tell you. All right. So make sure you are deschooling your scholar. And like I said, it can take up to 6 months. And sometimes it may take up to a year, depending on how long your scholar has been in school. It could take up to a year, guys. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your scholar. If you have multiple scholars, you really got to be patient, child. So make sure that you are taking this advice, or taking these tips, so that you can enhance your homeschooling journey and not be stressed. Okay. Not be stressed. Do not skip the process of deschooling. All right.